Mariana Coman, as you mentioned. I'm the Administration and Finance Director for Tenaris operation in Romania and CIS area. And I'm coordinating a team of 17 persons and a very, let's say, multicultural team from this point of view. So thank you again for the invitation. So if you all agree, I believe that we can start with the topics that you were mentioning. Only a second to share the screen. As I was mentioning, Tenaris, it's a global company present in 25 countries. Last year, revenues were around $12 billion. So I'm glad to be inside this team, and moreover, also to present the topics that we have on today's agenda, and especially in the current business environment with a lot of changes and processes that have taken speed in the last 3 years. We are seeing new jobs that are appearing on the market. We are seeing digitalization that was taking speed in the last years. I believe that it's important to talk about an important shift taking place in the role of the CFO or Chief Financial Officers. But today's agenda is comprising of the following points: a more holistic view of what CFO should do now, a shifting the corporate conversation towards long-term creation, identifying the key value drivers within the organization, then as a natural, let's say, continuously expanding the scope of financial departments. And as a solution, we are going to discuss about integrated thinking and reporting as a feasible alternative. As I was mentioning, in this rapid changing business landscape, the traditional focus of the CFO, it's on financial aspects and compliance is no longer sufficient. CFO must now embrace a broader perspective encompasses comprehensive value creation and protection. Because the time is changing, I believe that also the role of financial departments and also the CFO has to change and has to adapt to the new environment. We find ourselves in a world where the organization faces multiple challenges, and we need to assess various aspects of the capitals: human, social, intellectual, natural, etc. And the role of CFO is becoming crucial, and it must recognize the significance of this shift and to adjust their mindset. The role of current CFO is evolving, is taking a shift into that of the Chief Value Officer. The new role of the Chief Value Officer demands a departure from the narrow confines of financial metrics to a broader understanding of value creation. CFO are becoming vital drivers of long-term sustainable growth and success within their organizations. Let's remember that the CFOs are not acting alone. They are not acting as isolated individuals. They are driving teams, and their teams in their role are influencing the rest of the organizations. So embracing a new approach over the Chief Value Officer is triggering, let's say, multi-dimensional effects inside the organization. And as Chief Value Officers, I believe that CFOs have the opportunity to champion the holistic value creations. Their role is increasing in collaborating with the other stakeholders, such as boards, management teams. And they have the chance to integrate a multi-capital lens into performance evaluation. The new CFO or the Chief Value Officer is having a 36-degree over the business, and the finance professionalism, let's say, it's becoming a key strategic driver inside the organization. We are now discussing of a new status of the CFO. It's a modern CFO that acts as a strategic leader who drives direction inside the organization, while leveraging financial data and analytics in an increasing, let's say, new, let's say, environment of the business. And this is triggering, let's say, a perception over the CFOs are seen inspirational, driving for long-term value leaders, who is pushing and also implementing digitalization of finance, becoming strategic leaders. We are seeing now in today's business environment that we are discussing about sustainable action, sustainable development, digitalization, in compressing on the same umbrella the part of the financial with the part of the environmental and the social part. So the challenges facing the CFOs are to transform the finance function into something more accelerating, into something new that is involving the part of the technology, the race for the talent, because this is an important aspect, the human resources that are inside the organization. Everyone is seeking for talents in order to increase the performance as whole of the organization, and to rethink the part of outsourcing and co-sourcing models. To sum up, the CFOs must adapt to a more holistic view of their roles. We are discussing also about the change in the mindset, the Chief Value Officer mindset, and has to consider the multiple dimension of the business, protection especially, value creation, and all this has to drive for long-term sustainable growth and to gain, of course, advantage for their organization. So to close, let's say, the topic, even though also in the next topics that I'm going to tackle, the idea, let's say, it's flowing from this role of the new Chief Value Officer to other points related to value creation, sustainability, integrated reporting, integrated thinking. So let's embrace this evolution and redefine the CFO's role as strive for value creation. To continue on the same path, I would say that it's important to highlight another crucial aspect of corporate discussion that is gaining momentum. The shifting the corporate conversation towards long value creation. As I was mentioning, the things are changing and we are witnessing to a crucial aspect of corporate discussion that is gaining momentum. The shift towards long-term value creation in the current perspective of the business. If we are looking to the past, the world was more concentrated on short-term gains, having often taken precedent. It is essential to redirect our focus towards sustainable, enduring success for the organization. We need to have another approach. We were discussing about, I was mentioning about the change in the mindset. As well, now we need to pass from a backward look to something that is more aligned to the present and the future, a forward looking of the business. Because for far too long, the corporate conversation has revolved around profits, quarterly, annual profits, and immediate gain. Of course, while these short-term metrics are important, they can sometimes overshadow the broader picture of value creation that is embedding not only the financial returns, but also the social and environmental aspects. To bring out this shift, we must recognize the interconnectedness between financial performance and other aspects of the value creation. Currently, we can see what is happening in the world: climate change, CO2 footprint, war, all these aspects that we are really living and feeling the consequence of this phenomenon. We need to embrace a more holistic approach that considers the long-term consequences of our action, taking into account the impact on stakeholders, communities, and of course, the environment. As leaders, becomes the responsibility to reshape this conversation and instill a mindset that values long-term value creation. We are now shifting from a short and medium overview, let's say, or focus, to long-term value creation that encompasses the part of the financial with the part of the environment and social aspect. What we need to do further in our businesses is to prioritize sustainable practices. Sustainability, sustainable developments are becoming keywords in the current environment. Besides that, we need to be responsible in the usage of resource management and ethical decision-making. This means considering the social and environmental impacts of our action and integrating them into our corporate strategies. The benefits of shifting the corporate conversation towards long-term value creation are manifold. It ensured the resilience and longevity of our organization, meaning that the businesses are thought on long term, are thought to be sustainable, and the consequences of our businesses have to be, let's say, integrated on long-term perspective. And of course, it helps also to attract and retain top talent. I believe that one of the main objectives of the companies is this one, related to our human resources and to our talents. In conclusion, the time for sure has come to shift the corporate conversation towards long-term value creation by embracing a holistic approach and considering the broader impacts of our action. We make sure that we are assuring the enduring success of our organization, where financial prosperity goes hand in hand with the social and environmental well-being. And I believe that this action have to come top bottom and top down, and especially we have to make also the shift from the large organization mindsets to the individual, because each action of our own, it's having an impact over the part of the environment and communities overall. Discussing about the values, here I'm pointing out the main values of our organization: health and safety, environment, innovation, our people, community relation, government, and ethics. And I believe that these values should be on agenda of every one of us in order to move forward to a more sustainable future. Going further to another important topic, it makes sense to discuss a critical aspect of organizational success: the identification of key value drivers within our organization. As I was mentioning before, the organization, the companies are focused more and more on profits and also integrating the part of social and environmental aspects in their day-to-day operation. Sometimes we are forgetting about the drivers within the organization that is leading us to this objective. In a highly competitive business landscape, it is essential to understand the factors that are truly contributing to our overall value creation and growth. In order to be on this journey, we need to identify these key value drivers, and we need to start assessing, to do a comprehensive assessment of the organization. which involves, of course, an examination of our core processes, resources, capabilities, and competitive landscape. It requires us to evaluate both internal factors such as operational efficiency, talent development, and innovation, as well as the external factors, including market trends, customer needs, and of course, regulatory influences. Of course, now we need to point out the fact that these drivers may vary depending on the nature of the business, industrial dynamics, and of course, strategic goals. The identification of these key value drivers allow us to allocate our resources, time, and efforts strategically, because otherwise, if we do not have a clear strategy how to tackle these points, it's going to be very hard to arrive to the objective that we have proposed. As taken an example in a technology company, the key value drivers might include research and development, intellectual property, and customer satisfaction. In a manufacturing company, as is the company where I work, operational efficiency, supply chain optimization, and product quality may be key drivers, because depending on those drivers, we are going to take the decision accordingly, so to fulfill our objective. Identifying the key value drivers enhances our ability to measure and track our progress. We need to establish relevant performance metrics and KPIs to monitor the impacts of these drivers on all over our value creation. This is enabling us to gauge our success, to identify, of course, area of improvements, and give us time to make necessary adjustment to our strategies and operation. This process, at the end of the day, promotes a culture of continuous improvement and innovation within our organizations. By regularly evaluating and redefining our key drivers, we stay responsive to market changes, evolving customer needs, and emerging opportunities. Today, more than ever, we cannot stay in a flat zone and in a zone of comfort and to wait, because the speed of meaning the changes are taking place rapidly, and we need, of course, to react. So for this reason, we need to foster an environment that encourages creativity, collaboration, and adaptability, of course, ensuring our long-term viability and success. In conclusion, the identification of key value drivers within our organization is an essential step towards achieving sustainable growth, sustainable development, and success. By understanding what truly drives value creation, we can focus on our efforts in order to allocate resources effectively and make strategic decisions at the end. So, in order to close the discussion on the key value drivers, it's important to embrace a culture of continuous improvement and innovation. By doing so, we position ourselves at the forefront of our industry, ready to seize the opportunities that lies ahead. Of course, in any crisis, because usually we have period of growth and period of crisis, but every crisis has its own opportunity. Someone is gaining, someone is losing. So in order to have clear strategy how to tackle this kind of moments, we need to be able to take advantage of each situation. And I believe that the part of identifying the key value drivers, it's an important part of this journey. Now that we have discussed, we have started from the role of the CFO, the new role of CFO, we have passed to the part of the value creation and identification of the key value drivers. It's important also to shed light on the significant trend in reshaping the role of the financial departments within the organization and the expanded scope of their responsibility in this business environment, exploring what this means for business leaders when viewed through the lens of sustainability. So we cannot have an isolated view over the financial department, because the financial departments are evolving, and in the same time also the importance of this department, let's say, is differently perceived. In the past, the financial departments primarily focused on the transition function, such as accounting, financial reporting, and budgeting. However, today, in today's dynamic business landscape, the scope of the financial departments has expanded significantly, and also the financial departments have in a way reinvented themselves. The finance function has a critical role in helping the business being in the middle of what is changing and what is driving the change inside the business. It serves play a part in building a more sustainable future. Discussing about dynamics and rapid changes and speed of the things, how they are happening, the scope of the financial departments has expanded, being actively involved in strategic decision-making, risk management, and performance evaluation. Of course, this shift has profound implications for business leaders, especially when considering the imperative of sustainability. In the last years, and especially after the pandemic and the crisis in a way, sustainability has emerged as a critical business consideration, encompassing economic, social, and environmental aspects. As financial departments take a more prominent role, business leaders must recognize the connection between financial decision and sustainability outcomes. To the lens of sustainability, this expanded role of the financial departments, and besides the expanded role of the financial departments, I would say also the reinvention of the financial departments, provide business leaders with valuable opportunities and challenges. And here I would mention strategic alignment, risk management, performance evaluation, and stakeholders engagement. Expanding the role of the financial department presents business leaders with a unique opportunity to integrate sustainability into a core of their organization. By recognizing the interdependence between financial decision and sustainability outcomes, leaders can leverage financial expertise to drive positive change. Together with financial departments, they can align strategies, manage risk, evaluate performance, and engage stakeholders in the sustainable and responsible manner. At the end, the role of the financial departments, it's enlarging in a way, because the part of accountancy, treasury, taxes, accounting, reporting, this team is becoming, let's say, a reference for the rest of the companies, because the transformation is present in all the areas of the companies together with the innovation. And this is it's increasing the importance of these departments that are becoming coordinators of other processes inside the company. Now, in order to continue on the same idea, moving from the increasing role of financial department to the lens of sustainability, another important aspect that I want to highlight is about an alternative to everything that we were discussing. So is there integrated thinking and reporting an alternative to the organization solution in order to communicate with their stakeholders? Because going further in this world where stakeholders are increasing demand over transparency, accountability, And the holistic view of an organization value creation, integrated thinking and reporting emerges as a compelling approach that addresses these needs. And the global financial crisis highlighted the shortcomings of traditional financial reporting, including the lack of a future-oriented information and the failure to fulfill account for intangible. Today is not enough to see only the financial of a company or organization. The financial package is giving you a history and a hint over the past. We need to have direction for the future. And integrated reporting is trying, let's say, to mitigate this requirement from the stakeholders' side. Companies currently are publishing standalone social and environment reports and provide such an information in separate sections in their annual reports, resulting in a social and environmental disclosures being disconnected from financial part. This fragmented reporting fails to capture the connectivity and synergies that exist within organization, limiting our understanding of the true value that an organization creates and the potential risk that is facing. The scope and the purpose of integrated thinking and reporting is to overcome this limitation by adopting a more comprehensive and interconnected approach. Integrated thinking and reporting enable organizations to demonstrate their commitment to sustainable and responsible practices. Moreover, it's fostering a culture of accountability and encourages organizations to continuously improve their sustainability efforts. Because we were discussing about continuous improvements and innovation. These are part of the sustainability force package, I would say. It encourages organizations to view their operations through a broader lens, recognizing the interplay between financial, social, and environmental aspects. In the same time, it encourages a shift from short-term thinking to a longer-term perspective, incorporating sustainability consideration into decision-making process. The feasibility of integrated thinking and reporting lies in its potential to provide a more accurate and holistic view of an organization's value creation. And today the emphasis and the accent is more on value creation at level of organization. Value creation, transparency, accountability. To make integrated thinking and reporting a reality, so to be adopted by organizations, of course, companies must cultivate a culture that values transparency, collaboration, and long-term thinking. They need to invest in systems and processes that capture and analyze relevant data across different dimensions, different areas. They must engage with stakeholders to understand their expectation and incorporate their perspective into the reporting process. In conclusion, integrated thinking and reporting represent a feasible alternative to a fragmented reporting approach. And by embracing this approach, organizations can unlock the potential of their value creation, address sustainability challenges, and contribute to a more sustainable and inclusive future. So we need, from our position, to be aligned with what is happening in day-to-day life, meaning the increased speed, digitalization, innovation, emphasizes of sustainability. Companies must adapt to these changes and also to reshape their internal processes in order to fulfill stakeholder needs. And of course, we have the tools, but we need to be open to embrace these tools. So let's seize this opportunity to reshape how we think, report, and create value. Of course, in the benefit of our organization, stakeholders, and society at large. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mariana. I have we're slightly over time, but I just want to ask you one quick question. So, you mentioned about the short-term and long-term goals and values that needs to be created. But, I think that nowadays the world is going through very rapid changes, I would say, and changes that affect all kinds of sectors and industries and companies. So I think that some companies and employees, they struggle to see the big picture, kind of, when you have these kind of issues facing you on a day-to-day basis. So I guess my question to you would be as to how can you maybe balance these perceptions of the big picture, having the big picture in mind, and also not being overwhelmed with the short-term issues. I think especially the CFOs right now are under immense pressure, given that the economic situation is very unstable. There's a war happening. There's also digitalization ongoing. So I'm curious to hear what you think about this.
No, for sure. As I was mentioning, the environment, it's in a continuously movement. So, but I believe that regarding your question, we need to split into the problems, because discussing about sustainability, we need to see the matter of sustainability on long term. You cannot become sustainable starting tomorrow. And sustainable action and sustainability, it's a strategy that is not necessarily cheap, it's costly. You need to allocate budget, and also the results are not on short term. You are going to see the results in 1, 2, 3, or 4 years. And I'm giving you the example of the CO2 emission actions that companies, let's say, are trying to implement. So this is a long-term and long-run objective that, of course, and requires a lot of investments. Then on short term, I believe that here we need to see the part of how we adapt to the changes. Because if the war is on our border, we need to react and to adapt and to redirect and to have new strategies at company level, because you cannot stay and to expect to have the war closed. So I believe that we need to see the problem from different angles, and in a way to have long-term sustainability actions that in a way we need to connect with the part of the financials. But on the other hand, we need to adopt and to react to what is happening currently, to adapt to the new processes, but in the same time to enhance a strategy on long term. Because you cannot see only because the short-term gains, as I was mentioning, the quarterly, the annual profits, you need to think how to reinvest them in order to construct a sustainable business, because we are discussing about sustainable businesses. And here we can discuss a lot of factors: innovation, digitalization, embracing the part of the environment and social action. But in the same time, the part of flexibility and adaptability, it's crucial today, because we are not anymore players in a stable environment. So I suppose the flexibility and adaptability, it's our key drivers.
Yes, thank you.